Uh, uh, Good morning to each and everyone. Thank you very much for joining this weekly webinar from GHRC. And I was told today is the Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day for all the mothers and all the children. Happy Mother's Day. If you're not wished to your mom, please wish. I'm going to do that after this call. And then I was told this is a International Coaching Week. So thanks for choosing this topic, Ramesh, to talk about coaching on this day. So before I hand it to our wonderful ladies in the call who are going to walk us through the importance of coaching in the development of leaders in an organization construct, I thought let me introduce or reintroduce global HR community for next 10 minutes. So all of us had a chance to build ourselves when we are individual contributors. We build ourselves, and the journey of building ourselves never stops. I'm very sure Debeshi and Sandhya will talk about importance of building ourselves as leaders through various interventions like coaching, including coaching. So we build teams in early part of our leadership journey. We build functions like HR, finance, marketing. We build regional organizations like India or Asia Pacific. We build organizations. Many of you have been in the CXO role, and you build organizations and transformed organization. But here we have a unique opportunity to build a community. So building a community require a phenomenal experience, passion, and expertise and purpose. And GHRC is a great forum for building a community. Like Nathan mentioned on the inaugural day, we are building a beautiful garden. We are put certain saplings, but every week, every day, we need to plant new, water the existing saplings, and ensure that it's nurtured throughout this journey. So this is a community for the community, by the community. So each one need to spend time to building the various aspects of this community, not taking simply membership. That will not work, or that will not enable us to build that beautiful garden as per Nathan's narration. So here are we every week reflecting on a particular topic, which is very important for the community in terms of leadership development, building organization, and transforming society. Then what we are doing is once we have sufficient interest on the topic, we will do a 1 day or a 2 day workshop or a certification program or a learning program for the members by the experts like Sandhya and Debeshi today, who are going to talk about um, coaching. And last 2 weeks, we have Ranjan kicked off the entire weekly webinar with workforce analytics and insight. And he's going to do 2 day certification program on workforce analytics very soon. The last week I did a purpose, and I'm going to do 1 day certification program where help each one of you to define your purpose and live with purpose and lead with purpose. So that's the format for this weekly webinar, followed by a seminar or a conference or a certification program. So we have been talking about the objective of GHRC is the community for the community, by the community, wherein we able to connect, learn, grow, and contribute to the larger purpose and cause of the community. So the community-based practices, I had a chance to listen very early in my career. Paulo Freire, who is a Greek philosopher, I've done a lot of community intervention. I did my MSW. In MSW, we have a course called community development, casework, group work, and community development. And the community transformation and development is to ensure that today the silos which exist in the form of functions, teams, organization, or various stratification in the society, how do you break this mental and physical barriers and build a community which will be absolutely phenomenal for individual growth and the society growth? So a lot of importance is coming today for a community-based practices. And that's what GHRC is focusing on. So these community-based practices from our research, Nathan, Ramesh, and myself, along with some of very senior leaders, debated. And we also benchmarked hundreds of such community today exist in form of SHRM, NHRD, NIPM, or hr.com. Various communities do exist, and there are a lot of communities in Teams. There are a lot of communities in WhatsApp. So we found there are three important components of a community which a GHRC can differentiate and meet the objectives of this community and its members. One is without a technology platform, A-enabled platform, an effective community cannot be built in. So we are building an AI-enabled platform, and Ramesh himself is leading as a CEO with a external vendor. And we have been every day we are building block by block, or Nathan mentioned, every day we are planting a sapling in this platform in terms of functionality, in terms of performance of the platform. So it will be an AI-enabled platform. I will show you our large vision on this. So this AI-enabled platform will help the community to collaborate, to use the members' passion and develop members, contribute, grow, and connect. Then next one is a content, because today we are focusing on community development, organizational transformation, and individual development. The knowledge is the key form of transformation, or the facilitator, or the catalyst for transformation. So the knowledge has to be represented in form of content. Like today, we are going to talk about a big content. I'm very sure Debeshi and Sandhya will share the content. And already we have content in GHRC in form of white papers, in form of videos, curated contents. We have articles, we have videos, a lot of things. And content also in today's dynamic world, the lack of with Google and a lot of AI enabled platforms, there is no dearth of content, if you ask me. And but biggest challenge of today's content management or knowledge management is curating the content for a user journey. So what I want, or what Nathan wants, or Ramesh want in terms of learning and content is extremely different. And the way I learn, the way Ramesh, Nathan learns is very different. If you're not talking, can you go on mute? Thank you. I think Pooja, can you go on mute? I think we are hearing some background noise. Pooja?
Shri, you went on mute.
There
again you are on mute.
Yeah, there is no depth of content, but biggest challenge is how do you curate the content based on the user journey or persona of each one of us? How do you curate the content based on our learning style or the way we learn is one of the biggest challenge. So that's what GHRG is going to attempt not only creating content, but also curating the content and presenting in the content in the format which you like it. Some of you like words and sentences in PDF. Some of you like PowerPoint. Some of you like audio. Morning, I was listening to an audio for 1 hour and took a nap after that. So, and video. So how do you curate it based on individual preferences or learning style and the user journey? So GHRC is a triangulation of AI platform, content, and client, that is people like you, where we have three types of clients. One is public, where all of us are members today, coming from diverse organization, diverse region. But we are also curating the content and the platform for organization. We already signed 2 big contracts where they want our platform, but they want to create a private community using our platform and content. And this same organization want to be part of the GHRC in the same portal we call hybrid. So the triangulation of AI platform, content, and customer is what about GHRC, where AI and content require a lot of partnership. GHRC's partnership, like people like Sandhya and Debeshi, who are certified coaches who are going to talk about it. So I need not create a content on coaching. We will rely on the certified content from these two leaders. Similarly, we have been partnering with EdTech Education, Elite, another vendor. Our aspiration is to partner with a big organization like Harvard. And it's little early to announce, but I'll take permission from Nathan and Ramesh. I don't know how many of you know Peter Demendis. Peter Demendis is coming to India in July. So GHRC is going to host the first conference, quarterly big conference in Bangalore, Mumbai, and Delhi on exponential organization and future of work. And Peter is a founder of Singularity University, and he's also founder of XPRIZE and Abundance 360 and moonshotplanner.com and everything. So Peter's once we are talking to Peter and organization, can we be the strategic partner for him in India and other countries where he doesn't have presence? So once he agrees, his lot of content, we can get it through his partnership. That's one example. Where content and customers or clients like you, how do you make it relevant and constantly take your feedback and enrich the content? Then in the platform which Ramesh is building, how do you ensure that the user experience? Today we have a mobile-friendly version, but soon we are going to release a mobile version of that. Then how do you ensure that the usability, navigation of this AI platform is very friendly? So that's what we are doing it. I'll take 1 more minute, Ramesh, to talk about today we are building community of employees, leaders. This platform can be used to build community of vendors. We are talking to a few people where they want to use this for their vendors. We can use community of consumers and customers and many possibilities. Then how do you link it everything into a very dynamic environment where this all the supplier, the input coming from supplier, the process, the output and customer is integrated to create exponential value. So what we are doing, the portal which I mentioned or the AI platform which I mentioned should have what do you call it as various components like profile, like many of you already put your profile, purpose, which we are going to build a small application. You can define your purpose, career and life portfolio, happiness, wellness, career centers, and many, many functionalities we are building it. I will narrate one important functionality, then hand it over to Debeshi and Sandhya. Profile, for example. Ramesh and myself has written 2 different articles or white papers. How do you build signature profile? All of us have profile in LinkedIn. Go and check it. Is that profile is as unique as you, as distinctive as others? Is it highly relevant in the marketplace? These questions, when you ask it, you'll find answer. I don't want to come to that answer now. But we are helping our members to create unique profile, which is very, very significant and impactful for them. And this profile, when they create, it should have skills, competencies, experiences, then purpose, passion, multi dimensions of a signature profile. We can capture it. And through every day, every week, as we put new saplings and grow existing saplings, you will find your profile getting enriched, relevant, and as unique as your DNA, as unique as your signature, which can be absolutely monetized the way you want to do it in your future growth. So that's the profile. So we are very proud. We are going to work on this profile as a functionality where we can make it very rich through the experience what we provide through this community. So interest of time, I'm not getting into each functionality. Maybe in the future, we will walk you through how can we create signature profile. We already written a white paper. Then we'll debate, and that can be one webinar in the coming days. Purpose, we already done it, and we are going to do certification program. How do you build life and career portfolio is going to be next webinar. So we have put all this functionality, which is very distinct and unique to GHRC. Recognizing your uniques and distinct needs of the community members is what the key differentiator for GHRC. With that, thank you again very much for joining. Today's webinar by our own members, Debeshi, as well as Sandhya. And you have already heard their voice in the last webinar, how actively they are participating in the webinar for various topics. Both are very passionate ladies who really committed to leadership development through coaching and committed to diversity and inclusion. In fact, I requested Sandhya through my posting, we are going to create a sub-community within this. GHRC is a bigger community, but we are creating sub-community or clan like diversity, coaching, people supply chain management, labor economics, digital data, digital technology in HR, data science in HR. So you can specialize, be part of this, and we can create a lot of white papers, research, and relevant content. And what you call thought process in this sub-community. So Sandhya has agreed to be leading that diversity women leadership forum, as well as we can build a coaching forum separately. So when it comes to coaching, in my 3 decades plus of experience, I always found coaching is the best way to develop a leaders. Reason is coaching, normally we do 6 months. And in 6 months, if we can't develop a leader, then God only can do that. So it's very focused intervention and for developing leaders. So wherever I implemented, I ensure that three things are essential in this program. How do you develop leaders through coaching? How do you ensure that every leader is certified in coaching so that he or she uses coaching as a style when he or she manages people and lead people? The third one is, how do you drive coaching culture in an organization? It is not directing, it is not telling. You nurture and coach your organization. So coaching leaders, leaders as coach, and creating a coaching style in an organization, building a culture of coaching. These are the challenges today organizations are facing. And we have experts who is going to talk about it. As I mentioned, Debeshi Chakraborthy, she's the secretary and board member, IFC Delhi NCR Chapter, and leadership coach, ICF and PCC. And we have equally competent and passionate coach, Sandhya Mathur, director, credentialing and board member, IFC Delhi NCR Chapter, and chapter coach, educator, IFC, ICF and MCC. So again, Debeshi and Sandhya, thank you very much. I look forward to hearing you next 1 hour, and then we'll see whether we can do, how can we do more institutionalization of this program for our community members and do research white papers on this topic. With that, thank you very much. Nathan, did I miss anything? Okay, I think you may be in mute. Let's keep going. Hand it over to Sandhya and Debeshi. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Srikant, Ramesh, and
Srikant, you did not miss anything. I was speaking to a muted phone. Sorry about that.
Okay,
Very well covered. I think it is an important duty that we are all performing today. The big one is, how do we create communities and how do we participate in building communities? Being part of one is one thing, but contributing actively. And so I think we should just turn this over to the people who are waiting to share their knowledge with us. So over to you, Debeshi.
Thank you.
Srikant, you have to stop sharing, Srikant.
Yeah, I'm just getting out. Give me a second. Stop sharing. Okay, I stopped.
Yeah.
Thank you. I can see now the PowerPoint from Debeshi. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So welcome, everyone. It's a lovely Sunday morning. And as I said, that we are celebrating multiple things today. But you know what Srikant was sharing. Thank you for having us. And I'm a part of the GHRC platform. And when you created the motto of connect, learn, grow, and contribute. So as a coach, me and my colleague Sandhya Mathur is going to bring another aspect, which is co-create. Okay. So on that note of co-creation, me and Sandhya, we both are the part of the ICF Delhi Chapter, International Coaching Federation, its chapter. And a little introduction about me is that I used to be designing smart cities till 2016. And now I am, as a futurist, as a coach, building the future of India by creating smart leaders like you. So today, what we are going to do, the entire 1 hour or so that we have, we are going to quickly take you through the understanding what is happening in coaching, how you can participate. First of all, discover, like create a listening. I really want you to understand why we are having this conversation. Okay. The positioning that we have, calibrate yourself to the new future that we are walking into. And then Sandhya is going to demystify on how you can have those attributes, how you can show up, as an individual, as a leader in your organization? And then how do you participate and keep on developing? Take the first step, right? So that's it. This is going to be, Sandhya, do you want to say something before I dive into our presentation?
Not much, Debeshi. Just a huge thank you to everyone who's organized this. And we are privileged to be talking to seasoned leaders about leadership. I mean, that's an honor, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you. Carry on. I'll take over later.
got it. So on that note, let's get started. So why we are having this conversation in 2024? Sorry. Maybe Anison, I didn't get what you said. You
No,
can
no, go ahead. I think there was a background
Not a
talk. You
problem.
can go ahead.
Yeah. So, question to everyone. Can you guess who said it? Put it in the chat box. People who change after change will survive. People who change with the change will succeed. People who cause the change will lead. Can anyone guess who said it? Quickly, you can put it in the chat box. Somebody that we all know. Anyone, any guess? Abraham Lincoln? Got it. Avni, thank you. Anyone? The individual is from India. Quick hint. Okay, let me share it with you. It is our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. This is taken from our PwC report on imagining the workforce 2030. So we are in an historic moment when we need people who are going to cause this change and who will lead. And our country is going through that time. So what's happening in the world? Let's take a quick look, right? So as I said that sitting in 2024, we're just not going to be the leaders who are going to create more followers. We're going to create leaders for the future, 2030, 2050. So if you see, the world is entirely the economic power in 2040 is tilting towards the E7 countries, India, China, Indonesia, Brazil, Russia, Mexico, and Turkey. So our economy would be double the size of the G7 countries. So what does it mean for India? So we all know we're going to have young population, but 1 billion of this population, young individuals who are going to join the workforce, is going to be equivalent to 1/4 of the world's additional workforce. What does it mean? It means that our positioning the next 6 years or so is critical. Our decisions, the way we create leaders is going to, tilt how the world economy is going to perform. We are going to impact the world economy. We are at the driver's seat. This is our time. It's a historic moment. But are we really change ready? So the map that you see from the right-hand side is from an ICF study. And it's a 2023 study. It kind of reflects, the emerging market as the G7 itself, So what does it mean? We all know about these challenges that we are going through. So I may not kind of repeat, the challenges that we are facing. And we are facing the challenge at home every day while we are going to office. We are working with the employees. So this has to be done at home, in-house. But who is going to do this work? Who is going to be the Sindbad of this change? Who is going to be the brave leaders? So today's conversation is about finding those leaders. We all have that, latent leader in us, but it's a new game. The way we have created leaders, the way we have talked about leadership, the way we have, moved and we have got the result is no longer going to be valid. We are in a reset mode every year or every 6 months with the technological change, with the economy changing. We are riding the wave of change, and we need agents of change for whom change is going to be a skill. It's just not a phenomena. So we need the agents of change. So today, as a coach and being a part of the International Coaching Federation, which has been into the change creation in individuals and in organization across the globe. It was founded in 1995, and as I speak, there has been 50,000 members we have in 140 countries. And the goal is to enhance awareness of coaching. So we are acting as partners of change and bringing effectiveness. So Sandhya and I are, part of the ICF Delhi Chapter, which was formed in 2009. And we have more than 250 members, and the numbers post-pandemic is growing very fast. And we offer membership to people who are coaches, who are practicing with, ICF credentials. And we also offer membership to coach enthusiasts. Overall, we want everybody to be informed and have access to this powerful tool so that you can own this new future. You can rise with this wave of change. So that's the intention. And we are doing constantly, reinvented ourselves with a lot of data, a lot of research every 2 years. What it means to be a coach. We have core competencies. We have ethical standards. We redesign that according to what the world needs, what the industry needs. So the ethical standards that we have has made it called a gold standard in coaching. So there are 3 levels. So my colleague Sandhya is going to take you through it. So with that framework, with that happening right now, as an agent of change, we are looking into the future. So these are the organizations with where we are working with directly with ICF, and there are many more which are not there in the list. This is a global list that we have. So how you can be future ready? That is the question that we all have. Will my job be replaced by AI? How I can grow in the organization? Is it the right organization? Should I start something on my own? There's so many questions, right? As an individual, as a leader, as owning a business, the P&L, we all have. So ICF has been doing a lot of research in the work that we are doing. What is the impact that is being really created? So I bring to you a report of 2023, and I'm not getting into the detail. I'm just going to share a few highlights, key findings. Now, this being a post-COVID report, it says that, the coaching and the employee engagement has really gone high. Coaching role in leadership development for millennials and first-time managers is having a high impact, because 2030, a large portion of this new leadership bench will be comprising of millennials, the senior millennials, and the impact that coaching is having on change management. So this is creating a culture which is robust, which can stand strong amidst changes like pandemic, which has impacted upskilling, well-being, leadership, a holistic growth of an individual. And it has also helped to retain top talents. So at the end of this presentation, I'll share, some of the best practices, some of the organizations who have been able to do it and who have been awarded by ICF. So that's happening right now as we speak in 2023. But the most important phenomena for our conversation today is a rise of managers and leaders as coaches. Change is happening very fast. So you really need to have the capacity building in-house to undergo this everyday change, and coaching be the vehicle for it. So there are external practitioners like coaches like me and Sandhya. There are internal coaches who can be credentialed and working within the organization. There can be a mix of both. And today, our focus is working on the people managers who are using coaching skills. They might not be credentials, but in everyday coaching moments, everyday conversation, coaching competencies are showing up. And managers are leaders who are using coaching skills, can be credentialed or not. So, this is what is happening in 2023. And keeping this in mind, we are going to look into the next part of our conversation. What do we need to show up as a coach practitioner, right? So there are different types of coaching: leadership, performance, executive, team and group coaching is becoming very, very important nowadays. Personal coaching, career coaching, strategic, integrated, specialty coaching, leadership coaching is at the top. So, and there are many data which says that what has been the impact. So starting from improving employee relationship to decreasing stress to reducing turnover, increasing job satisfaction, faster onboarding into the new roles. I'll share the slides with you and I can share this report. Everything is a solution to the challenge, or transforming and helping change happen in a better way, defining what in this uncertain times your actions are going to be, how you can be appropriate in this new situation and still bring results. So this is a framework for you to write the change, right? So many reasons for participating. Now, this is not 2023 data. This is an earlier data, a research done with, PwC. Communication skills, like it is not only something which is impacting, things which are post-pandemic. It is also impacting things which are core competencies like communication, improving your work-life balance, increasing productivity. Okay, so this is why people are seeking coaching, why as a leader, people will come to you to be coached. So what does it mean for you today? So today you can show up, at the end of the conversation that we have, keep listening. Where are you positioned? Are you positioned to become an external coach? And we can share, a roadmap around it. Or you are a manager within the organization, would love to understand the nuances of what coaching looks like. Okay, so this 4 areas, are there in the ecosystem as for you to show up, and keep listening to this conversation and see which one you feel aligned with, right? I know, quick question. I wanted to do a polling. How many of you, I just wanted to, do a check-in. How many of you have experienced or have coached, is familiar with this world of coaching? So just drop in a Y if you are, drop in an yes. Madhuri says yes, Vikram says yes, Ramesh says yes, Nathan says yes, right? Yeah, Shalini says yes, right. So we all have experience. Annapurna says no, not a problem. Sandeep says no, Pradha says yes. Got it, got it. So I can see a lot of yes, okay? And there is no law around what coaching is, but coaching, when it is rendered, the result is a little different from what mentoring is, what training is, and Sandhya is going to talk about it. The definition of ICF, the way ICF defines coaching is partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process. So as a coach, you become the thinking partner. You don't give the solution, you evoke it from the person whom you're coaching. The process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. It leads to inspired action, which can happen outside the session as well. It is client driven. Sandhya will talk about it. And it focuses on setting goals, creating outcomes, and managing personal change. And these are some of the keywords. But the world of coaching is beyond that. So I'm just going to quickly play a video, a case of a coach, a leader, a people manager who's been the recipient of coaching and who has experienced it in a business organizational setup. If I can share sound, just let me know if you can hear it. Just drop in a thumbs up if you can hear it. Can you hear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Coaching for me has been transformative. It's changed the way that I lead. It's changed the way that I manage. It would be much harder without that support and without that resource. Qatar is a new city, but it's also an old city. If you take a look at the skyline, the architecture, you will see explosive growth and amazing buildings going up every single day. And we're here on College of the North Atlantic's campus, which is an absolutely outstanding facility. I've been here 3.5 years, and I'm really enjoying both the college has to offer, but all the city has to offer as well. When I started with the position, I had a very flat organizational structure. I basically had 25 people reporting to me directly. Different backgrounds, different perspectives, different ideas. There was no vision for the way that the office would work together. And with such a diverse staff from such varying backgrounds, it was more of a challenge than I had experienced before. So I was fortunate enough to find out about Jen's coaching.
Coaching is about relationships. It is more than a conversation, and the relationship between a coach and a coachee is really a partnership where we are co-creating possibilities, different kinds of solutions and outcomes that perhaps the coachee wouldn't necessarily come up with on their own.
Through my coaching with Jen, we were able to develop a new structure. It was clear that I wanted to play a leadership role, but I also wanted the staff to work together as a team. So we developed a leadership team that were able to learn new skills, to start to develop some smaller teams, and then they started to lead across the entire office. So I was able to identify 5 people, and I was really, really pleased because in all 5 cases, all 5 really blossomed.
They identified that being a part of this team was really important to them, and that really helps Shauna. It really helps any leader when your team want to work together and they want to make it better. And she had that, investment from them right from the beginning, and I noticed that it's something special.
It was really rewarding because my role is in service to others. So for me to receive positive feedback on the growth amongst the leadership team was the most rewarding experience I've had. I think it's a win-win across the board. So Jen coaches me, I learn new skills and resources, I try those out in the leadership team, they try it out with their groups. It's just this really positive ripple effect and trickle down. Every single week with a coach, there's something that you can learn. Feeling that you have someone that's there in your corner, rooting for you, has certainly helped me move the leadership team forward, but also stay engaged as a leader and stay committed to what I'm doing.
So that was Shauna's story, right? And this story can be yours as well. So as you can see, the rule is to discover, to clarify, to align what the client wants. And every client from different organization, from different industry is going to tap into their innate potential and create a unique solution. So on that note, I would invite Sandhya to bring in the next part of our presentation, where we demystify how is it done.
Oops, I don't know what happened. Just give me a moment.
Sure. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, we'll take it at the end. Shalini says interesting. Sandeep is awesome, nice.
Is that visible? Is the screen share visible, Debeshi?
It is visible.
Thanks, Debeshi. And thank you so much for setting the stage for this entire topic of coaching for people managers and the need to adopt that in our leadership style. So yes, we are in August company here, leaders who've been very, very successful in the work that they do. I'm just going to, add to what you already do. And I'm going to begin with Daniel Goleman has spoken about 6 leadership styles. And Daniel Goleman is, somebody I follow passionately, very attentively, because, EQ is my specialization. To begin with, when we talk about emotional intelligence, and we can cover this sometime later, just as an introduction, why Daniel Goleman, there is other things around as well, other leadership styles. And for the past 2 decades and more, emotional intelligence for a leader has been emphasized upon more and more and more. Because guess what? And we are all aware of that, right? Your IQ is established when you're leading. It's established for years and years and years. Your qualifications are there. You know what you need to do. But when you're dealing with people, what is really required? It's your emotional quotient. And from there comes all of these styles, the whys and what of the different leadership styles. It can be commanding, visionary, coaching, democratic, affiliative, and pace setting. So I think all of us can perhaps resonate with all of them, or at least one of them, because, we possess all of these, but some of us may lean towards a particular kind of leadership style. And actually, we are not saying that we stick to one leadership style. It's got to be, the leaders got to be well versed in all of these styles and know how and when to alternate between them depending on the circumstances at work. What we are talking about and emphasizing on today is how to adopt coaching in the leadership style. Because, much like the name suggests, coaching teams, coaching leaders, other leaders, there's a focus on personal development of the team members rather than just meeting work-related goals. It's a more holistic approach, and we'll explore it as we go along. the leader and the team member, or the leader and the reportee or the employee work on a one-on-one. These are one-on-one conversations to achieve excellence, which works well for the employees, which works well for the leader. How and why is it so important? Why is it so worthwhile? At a very top level, we are saying that it eliminates overdependence both ways. It reduces overwhelm for the leader, I would say. And the biggest benefit is staying connected. We'll discuss these in detail. Let's explore a couple of things here before we do that. So what I'm really saying here is that instructing the top-down approach that was perhaps relevant a few decades ago increases dependency. And coaching develops capability, as you've seen through all the videos and all the data that Debeshi just presented. How does that happen? I'll take you through a little bit here, because really going through the topic would take a day's workshop or maybe a couple of days. The point is, the manager, the leader, and the employee both want the same thing. They have the same goal. And the goal, in most instances, is, it is aligned with the organization's goals, right? What happens there? The manager wants it. The employees want the same thing. What do they want? They want a solution to the current impasse. They want a solution to the current situation that matches their respective needs. Whatever their goal, their short-term goal, their year, the goal for that particular financial year is, for the quarter is, whatever it is. Everyone wants the same thing. But then why do we see the struggle? What's happening there? When we coach, go in as external coaches, there's so many times we discover that the client and senior individuals at that are really not aligned with the organization's goals. They're not aligned with the team. And as an external coach, it takes a lot, speaking to the stakeholders, talking to everyone, to get them to really be in sync with that. And then what I've noticed through the leadership reports that we generate, these are EQ leadership reports, we've noticed that most leaders, those stakeholders, are pretty apt and focused about the feedback that they are giving us about the client, the executive who needs to be coached. The observations are all correct. The strengths, the areas to be worked on are all there. The observations are all there. But what happens on a day-to-day basis? Because, 6 months, 6 sessions, 8 sessions, the coach is going to be there. What if we make it a reality on a day-to-day basis, right? That doesn't mean external coaches are not needed, but what if we make this a reality? How do we do that? So as managers, do we tell them what to do? Or do we just accept it the way it is, whatever work is churned out, and we just accept it? Do we guess what the employee wants and the manager wants? How do we align purpose? How do we align the vision, mission, and the current goal? Or what about mutually exploring the situation, the goal, the short-term goal, whatever it is? Because there's lots of training in every organization. consulting. I mean, we do a lot of consulting. So there's heaps of consulting work that's done. There's mentoring within an organization. All of that is there. It's working. But guess what? It is all in the tell mode. Tell, tell, tell. And what happens is, in training, you're transferring knowledge to others through the medium of facilitation, right? Applying domain expertise to a given challenge to solve a problem is again telling. That's what consultants do. And mentoring is, of course, professional advice and guidance from an influential, experienced individual in the same field. But then what is it leading to? It's leading to dependence. Because you tell and the other person does. Now the question there is, does happen? Does it really happen? Do people actually do what they are told to do? And that is, where I would urge you all to reflect on your childhood as well. Through life, what are the things we have done best? And what did we do when we were told to do something? Would you agree that when we did something that we felt strongly about, that was our brainchild, we were motivated to do that, we did that better? I would love to hear your comments in the chat there. Whether it was a subject in school, we all had our favorite subjects. Why was that? Why was that? We were motivated. We were driven to work in that area. So how did it work? What was working in the background? It was how we felt about it, how we thought about it. We liked the teacher, we liked the subject, we did homework bang on time, didn't have to be persuaded by our parents, and we submitted that. There were people who loved maths, but there were others who didn't. They were just not driven. So would it be apt to say that emotions drive people and people drive performance? Does that make sense? Because that's where we come back to telling. Does telling evoke that emotion? Does telling drive people? Does therefore telling drive performance? It's creating dependence, isn't it? So let's explore coaching, where you're challenging an individual's emotions, their beliefs, their values, their knowledge to create new thinking. It's got to be as unique as they are. I love that reference to a unique profile, as unique as your DNA. Everyone's got a different style. I mean, all of us certified coaches, master coaches at different levels of coaching credentials. Each one of us is certified, accredited, but each one of us has a unique style. And that's true for our employees, entire workforce. So challenging an individual's emotions, beliefs, values, and knowledge to create that new thinking, that new drive, that intrinsic motivation. How about trying that out? So we are talking about, creating dependence, the employee becoming dependent on the leader. When you're in tell mode, what you say has to be done. That could also lead to a lot of control, but look at it from the other point of view. Let's ask ourselves, is it making our teams self-reliant? Is it empowering them? If I have a busy schedule as a leader, and the decisions are all to be made by me, I'm the bottleneck, right? I'm the greatest bottleneck there. So how do we create and maintain that momentum and motivation? Because the more you help your people, the more they'll need your help, and the more time you will have to spend helping them. That's going to lead to a state of overwhelm, isn't it? And in the coaching world, we actually, when I work with the mentoring coaches, we actually work on the mindset of never ever going in the mindset with the mindset to help a client. We are there to support, because help invariably means doing things for others, telling them what to do. We are just creating people who are, dependent on us, our decisions. And what happens? The leader is in a state of overwhelm. You lose focus. You get more and more overwhelmed with the work you have to do and manage, micromanage everything. So let's, as leaders, do our job, not theirs. What is happening in this overwhelmed state? Lots of stress, heaps of stress, because we tend to lose focus on our own work. There's so much to do. There's sometimes so much to manage that there's frustration, there's anger, and of course, the rest we know, health and emotional and physical health getting impacted. So how about reducing this whole state of dependency, reducing overwhelm, and staying connected? How do we stay connected? Let's stay connected with work that matters and support people to do more work that has impact and meaning. Because, when we as leaders do low quality work, and I'm not saying that everything that the organization, other employees are doing low quality work. The leader is there for a purpose. There is other stuff to do, right? More strategic stuff. You might just end up being less engaged. And your work might suffer. Your goals might suffer. Now, and I would love to hear from all of you, of course, in the comments. Some of you might say that we've already tried it. It's slow and it doesn't really work well. Have we seen that? We have some lovely comments here. So do any one of you feel that it is slow and it doesn't work?
Hi, Sandhya. I'm also Sandhya here, so nice to meet you. Part of EY, GDS as an organization, and being there as a coach for the last 4 years. It's been an extremely fulfilling journey, I should say. What I have found as a challenge is when you kind of try to be a coach, own team, versus someone else who is assigned to you. With the pressures of the time-bound deliverables that we have and multiple things that we are trying to work through within the team. So I'm still trying. What I try to do is to kind of disconnect from the regular work and have connect agendas, specifically for coaching. It's a little to disconnect when you're an immediate manager or you have a direct report working.
Correct.
That's something which I'm trying, but otherwise I think it's been a very fulfilling journey, and I want to take this forward furthermore and explore and contribute, not restricting to EY and otherwise. Thank you for this wonderful topic, and looking forward to hear more from both of you, Sandhya
Thank
and
you, Debeshi. Thank you. Thanks, Sandhya. So, remember, we are not talking about external coach kind of conversations where we schedule an hour or 40 minutes or 20 minutes with a team member. We are talking about day-to-day conversations being like that. Yes, sometimes it may be slow, but when you get into the habit, it's effective, as I just read in the chat, right? And one of the reasons can be it's not probably very effective coaching, because it may not be coaching. Coaching is about bringing out the best potential in the other individual. It's not my perspective, it is their perspective. Of course, it has to be within the organizational structure, right? You may not be a trained coach. That can happen. It could be, because it's going to be in conversations, you may be, of course, not trained to do it. Probably not much focus and time has been given to the changing scenario. Because, changing behavior from giving advice to asking questions seems easy, but it's not that simple. What kind of questions? Are we framing questions based on our understanding of the situation? Have we even heard what the employee has to say? Because it's just a few well-placed questions that will do the job. That few well-placed questions will take a day's work to bring it out to all of you. But it is very simple, and it must reflect deep listening. If you're listening, you will ask the right, correct, intuitive, succinct questions. And you can coach someone in 10 minutes or less. You must, in fact, coach someone in 10 minutes. Those, in fact, even for our regular coaching conversations, the more you progress in the coaching career, the 1 hour seems like a whole day. It can be done in 30 minutes. As an external coach is what I'm talking about. But the manager as a coach, the leader as a coach, the leader adopting a coaching style in everyday conversation takes 10 minutes. It has to be a daily informal act. It's about 365 days a year. And those conversations, I would say, reflect in the emails we send, all our interactions, phone conversations, emails, WhatsApp, whatever. And the blend, of course, of the leadership styles as and where it's needed. I'm not saying the other leadership styles are not correct. You will need the other styles as well. And you can build a coaching habit if you learn and use the mechanics of building and embedding new habits. It all goes back to building habits. It takes time. It takes practice. It takes, refining that new behavior that you're trying to adopt. Building on the skill of asking questions and building on listening. How do you do that? The questions, the conversation must be aimed towards catalyzing that intrinsic motivation. The passion you pursue without reward. That is the crux.
Sandhya, if I can just take a moment here.
Sure.
As you move on. I think rightly said, and it's beautifully put. I think a lot of it, when we talk of especially managers being coaches, because that happens on a day-to-day basis.
Correct.
I think it starts from the fact that the managers actually do away with a lot of their own bias or own thoughts around what the team members are. So if I have 10 people with me, I think each of them need a different way of questioning, different levels of listening, different levels of empathizing. So I need to be so selfless. Yeah, as you said, I need to have the passion to pursue with them at that level, which means every day I'm learning I'm learning and learning about myself as a person who needs to coach. At the same time, I'm learning a lot about the other person while I'm practicing the right set of questions, as you said. I think the listening, the right set of questions, and the empathy that you give, I think, which makes it a 30-minute conversation to a 10-minute. And sometimes
Absolutely.
it's just that you give a sign and the other person understands what you actually want at that point to be done. I mean, it goes to that level if we persist as a coach ourselves in changing our own behaviors and beliefs on the entire aspect.
Very well said, Madhuri. Very well said. Because, in our basic, the most fundamental training we receive as coaches, and for me, as a coach educator, I just stress on that all the time at all levels. Because as a coach, we don't, if I'm coaching, let's say 10 executives right now, I adapt my approach for each of those clients, right? They are just different. Each individual is different. So the same approach may or may not work. And when you adapt that approach, as you rightly said, it could be the same individual at different stages of coaching. And it could be different individuals. So when we do that as external coaches, that's I'm glad you pointed that out. That would be required of managers also, because it is then all about the client, which is the employee and in the moment. And the leader has to put aside their bias, just listen. And the coaching conversation has to be about what and why. And yes, also the who. And then get to the how. Because what's happening is there are the what and the how conversations. What about the struggle in between? The lack of confidence to know how to do it. Everyone knows what to do, perhaps. Let's assume that. How to get it done? Between the what and the how is the why and the who. Let's explore who this person is. Let's listen intently. Let's listen deeply. What that's going to return is better performance, high productivity, continuous learning, low employee turnover. Creating succession pipelines is a tough job, right? I've coached many executives where it's a challenge because nobody in the team is ready because they've all been so dependent. It leads to easier change management because you've got you're open, you've got a coaching mindset there. There's greater innovation because your team and you are intrinsically motivated. There's positive work culture all around. Those are the benefits.
Sandhya, Avni also wants to share something.
Sure, sorry, I didn't
We
see
can
that.
take her question.
Sorry, no problem. Sorry, my little one's name is appearing in the call, but my name is Anand. From next session onwards, I'll change the name. Sorry about that. Okay. So this is Anand, and I'm also from EY. So I'm a people manager, and I was admiring the points that you were driving and the questions that we had from our fellow participants as well. On that intrinsic motivation, on how we kind of generate that passion from the other side, right? Because I'll tell you practically what I go through also. Currently, I have a team of around 25 to 30 team members. I'm really internally motivated more than anything to go ahead and offer coaching, the internal coaching that we were talking about, right? Nothing to do with externally
Yes.
having any purpose, but then that internal coaching is what I want to offer. But that readiness on the other side, I'm not sure if they are really looking forward. I cannot enforce it on them. You spoke about having meaningful conversations, asking valid questions, but somewhere I'm still struggling. I have the passion, I have the purpose of coaching them and seeing difference in them, but how do we really generate the enthusiasm in the coaches, or if I'm not using the right word, or people on the other side who are getting coached? How do we bring that zeal and enthusiasm that this is being offered to them for their benefit and there's no other objective behind it? I'm still stuck in that journey, Sandhya.
Yes, and sometimes as external coaches also, we face that resistance that why am I getting coached? I'm performing well. There has been enough of those cases. So I would, for now, put it in maybe one sentence. I heard the word purpose for yourself, correct?
Yep.
You are sure of your purpose. And guess what, Anand? Your purpose drives you, correct?
Very true.
Your purpose comes from a certain way you feel. If you can identify that emotion, not right now, later on, how you feel about it. What are your thoughts? And then just transfer it to the other side. How about exploring the employee's purpose? Because purpose and noble goal, or whatever we may call it, should be something that makes you jump out of bed every morning. And that purpose should be driving the daily choices you make. That's the kind of motivation that we are looking at. And that motivation cannot be external. You can trigger it. So let's explore their purpose, have deeper conversations for now, till we get to the nuts and bolts of what questions to ask at a later date.
Thank you.
Sandhya,
Thanks a lot.
Sandhya, if you may add, can I add on this, Sandhya?
Absolutely, absolutely, Ramesh.
Yeah, at times, we also need to know what are we coaching or why are we coaching, right? So many times I find that we are coaching more for the past behaviors, right? We see some gaps in our behaviors, and therefore organizations ask us to intervene and help us in terms of trying to fix those gaps in certain behaviors or traits of a particular leader. And that's why I think many times we have resistance coming from people.
Yes,
why am I
that's
undergoing coaching?
true. That's true.
Right. But then
So
if
a
you're
number of
sorry, if you're able to tell them that we're coaching more for the future, we're trying to build you as a future leader or for the next position or for a next particular role, and what are those capabilities and skills which are the traits a person should have, and therefore that's why we are imparting this coaching. I think it becomes easier to sell. Otherwise, we could have some resistance as some of the people shared away.
correct. The intent has to be articulated there.
Right. Are we coaching for the future or are we coaching for the past behaviors?
Ramesh, your voice was breaking. I couldn't hear you completely. Is it only me or?
It's clear for us.
Oh,
I was just saying, Sandhya, are we coaching for the past behaviors or are we looking at coaching for the future?
Future, present, from present to future, taking into account some things that need to be worked on, perhaps, because the past is going to tell us about strengths and areas to work in.
Right.
Right. And all the organizations that we coach in, this is a big thing, that promotions coming up. And for example, the consulting firms, promotions coming up, the promotion panel is going to be sitting and coach this person to be able to get to the next level, to be a partner, right? Now what? The past strengths and areas of development do come into the picture. However, if these conversations were happening on a daily basis, the client wouldn't have to work that doubly hard as he or she needs to work when they're just being coached for that particular promotion.
Then I'll just pitch in Srini as a question. And then we also have a conversation about building coachable mindset of the person who is recipient of the coaching.
Correct.
And typically we kind of have a agreement. So who is the sponsor for this person to go from good to great? So maybe, the person doesn't understand coaching, but understands that, I'm being sponsored for growth. I have a journey ahead. That in that excitement, in that agreement, I think that shapes the coachability of that person. And once that person experiences, then the road ahead becomes easier. So Srini has a question, Sandhya. Srini, please unmute and share.
Yeah, good afternoon, Sandhya. Thanks for your lovely session. I'm just going through the table that you're showing. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Okay. I'm just going through the table that you've shown, the training, consulting, the mentoring, and the coaching, the hierarchy. Okay. And this is more of an exploration. My understanding is that if you were to become a coach, actually, you need to become in that specialization, and you should be field. You should be an expert as that field. For example, if Rahul Dravid has to coach the Indian cricket team, he should have definitely played something like that. Then only he will get the authenticity to coach the team. And whereas mentoring is something which I understand is a generic skill. For example, a communication, you can talk about a thing. So I would like to understand what is the significant, differences between these two, because we interchangeably use these things in the corporate world.
Mentoring is, of course, somebody who's got more experience. That is the general understanding.
Okay.
For example, if I mentor other coaches with the, more than a decade-long journey of being a coach, then I'm mentoring them. I'm a mentor coach, right? A coach, educator, of course you could say, but when I mentor them, I talk about my experiences as well and what they could possibly do in a situation, in a conversation where they are stuck. So that is my years of experience. And perhaps I'm talking to a beginner coach or somebody who's got maybe 2 years, 3 years of experience. So that is the general understanding of mentoring. At least that is what is done in the coaching world. And I would say that is largely relevant in the corporate world as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, thanks. Did I miss something? I'm sorry.
Just to add there on the mentoring and coaching, I think when we look at typically an x-axis and y-axis, when we look at, and like it all depends on the nature of the challenge and the ability to tackle the challenge.
Yeah.
So I think when we talk about mentoring, it is all about the person's, the challenge is high, but the ability to tackle is low. Is when probably when you do a lot of experiential discussion with the person, somebody who is very experienced in handling those challenges might probably say that, I have tried this earlier in a particular situation like this. Might this help you or something like that?
Yes, correct.
But when you're talking about on the coaching side, I think the ability to tackle the challenge is also low. And then we are also looking at the nature of the task is also kind of in the lower quadrant, when we say what options do we have? Can we explore together in terms of what options do we have? And we elicit the response from the person to own the action and then take it forward. I mean, I just thought of that making any sense.
Correct. That is action oriented, right? True.
Yeah.
That is the how do we get it done? So to really understand this better, I would say just refer. Oh, I'm so sorry. What is happening? This is the iceberg model. All of you would have seen this somewhere or the other. We were talking about a mindset of growth and excellence. The intent of the conversation, the intent of perhaps internal coaching, or the intent that, hey, I'm talking to you because this is going to take you, I want to explore this further with you. How would you like to get it done? And if you've noticed, look at the change, look at the shift in the way careers are chosen. Earlier, parents and teachers would say, you must study this, and that was that. Today, the students' capabilities and choices and their motivation is taken into account. And they do very, very well, right? So how about changing the style of the conversation? And as I mentioned, look at their purpose. Ask them about their mindset. Ask questions, explore that. How we develop that skill, that is the thing for leaders. And we can spend a whole day working on that. The idea is to foster a mindset of growth and excellence for the entire organization. When all the leaders are having that conversation, it will happen. Because what you see on top, what you really see on a day-to-day basis, the observations are about behavior and results, correct? That's what we see. What is not really visible is all that is under the surface. We never see that. We don't see the vulnerability. We don't see the beliefs. We don't see values, the skills. And a classic example, I know of somebody I was coaching in the Big Four, one of the consulting companies. He needed to talk a lot given his job profile. But he came from a space, the value system said that you should wait. You must not be too articulate. You must not talk too much. Values, a conflict of values and what the job required. But how did we ever get to know that? So this is where real coaching happens. Mindsets are created and changed here. This is the place where coaching works. The behavior and the results are, yes, we can tell, but it may or may not be sustainable. So what we've really worked through, in this entire 20 minutes that I've been talking, I would say that the key coaching principles for leaders is to listen, active, deep listening, just listen to understand the other person. Then ask questions that reflect that listening. And then, of course, constructive feedback and reframe what you've just heard. Ask them what they would like to do. And how do we integrate coaching on a day-to-day basis, right? And address future behavior? Focus on options and possibilities, perhaps. And there should be ongoing conversations about what has to be done, whether it's future-based or it is coming from the past and then being taken into the future, all of that experience. And maybe get somebody external coach or someone for mid to long-term development. or short term, you could use feedback. But to your question, coaching
Sandhya,
address
we have just
the
a couple of
behavior.
minutes
Yeah,
left.
I
So
am finishing. I'm
we
done.
have to wrap up.
Yeah. So it's about easy developmental, game-changing approach. It develops capability. As I said earlier, all of these benefits are there, and we invite you to try coaching as a powerful capability building method in your organizations. And briefly, I'm going to talk about how to become, somebody spoke about how do we become trained ICF accredited coaches, right? That is another route that leaders, managers can take to explore how to empower managers to create the coaching culture and coach certification options. So the coach's journey, I'll just go through this briefly. It starts with unconscious incompetence, where you're struggling with how you talk to your clients, you're struggling with how to talk to your employees in a coaching with a coaching approach. But it does even out, and you do get to conscious competence, you make the effort, and then get to unconscious competence. How? So the coach's journey is something like this, very briefly, because it will take a whole website to explain the options here. That's what we work on. Goals and activities, results, we work on systems, we work on emotions, beliefs, and systems. How? At the certification level, goals, then that is the what and how conversations. There's ACC level, there's PCC, and there is MCC. It's like you get promotions in the army from a captain to a major to a colonel. That's how we work here. And initially, we are having the what and how conversations, and then the why and the who conversations begin as you progress in your career. So these are the 3 credentials that it's a journey, and we can spend another hour sometime exploring that in a workshop. And it's a different level of coaching mastery, experience, and expertise. And it does demonstrate your commitment to professional growth and elevates your credibility in the coaching industry. So that's it from me. Over to Debeshi for a few moments. I know we are, short of time now.
Thank you so much, Sandhya. So we
Yeah.
are at the last D, right? So how you can develop your muscle, how you can participate. So one way obviously is going to be undergoing the training, becoming, a part of the ICF community, and understanding all the nuances, the competencies, the ethics, and go through the training. So ACC is 100 hours of coaching, and then 60 hours. So we can get into the detail in another webinar, as Sandhya said. But as an organization, a lot of you, I could see, the other Sandhya, we have Anand there, who are internal coaches. How can you celebrate the coaching which is happening inside your organization? So ICF celebrates the coaching culture through an award, Impact Coaching Award, and initially it was known as the Prism Awards. So there are many categories. The 2 categories which are relevant for you is for the organization and as an individual coach. You can participate in the same. For 2024 entries closed in April, so you can always work for the entire year and apply in 2025. Some of the case studies, so a lot of you are from ENY. I can share the name and the list. Some familiar names are there, but from India, the number of awards are not that much. But we are, I would say, the post-COVID, we are seeing a rise in the participation. In 2021, TCS was, no, 2022, PCS was nominated for the award. they were showing all the traits of that gold standard, and it was impacting their business, it was impacting their people. I'm happy to share the detailed case study. And in 2021, they won the award. You can see the transition, and you can see this is happening in a post-COVID scenario, how they championed change. And I'm really glad to share that in 2022, we had the first ever ICF India Prism Award. I was a part of the committee, and we had SIET winning the award. And in 2023, we had the JK Cement winning the award. And in 2014, they won the international award as well. So all this is available for you to get inspired, but take action, because we want your organization to the next one. We want the video that we showed of Doha of Sean. We want an Indian organization sharing their beautiful story. So on that note, we had questions, answers, and we can continue, taking them on WhatsApp. And feel free to connect and co-create this time that we have spent together. Let's take one step, the first step towards having every moment as a coaching moment, championing change, not for self, also for others. So that's it from me and Sandhya as of now. Over to you, Ramesh.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sandhya and Dave, for a wonderful session on coaching mindset and how do we use coaching as an important tool in the leadership development and people management. I would just wrap it up by saying, there's a very famous saying which says that give a man a fish and you will feed him for a day, and you teach him how to fish and he will feed him for the lifetime. And I'm able to resonate it with what Sandhya was saying about tell versus explore. How consulting is all about telling, how training is all about telling, but coaching is all about exploration. And I think it resonates with what I said, that if you coach people, you feed them for a lifetime, and it helps them to develop for a lifetime. It's a very powerful tool, and thank you so much. I know that 45 minutes or 1 hour is too short to do justice, but you people have done a great eye-opener for us to understand how powerful coaching can be, how it can be used as a very effective tool in developing people. And I encourage those who want to pursue coaching as a career, either internally or externally, can look at getting certified from organizations like ICF. I got coached from CFI, the Coaching Foundation of India. So it's a great opportunity for people to develop themselves and, more importantly, develop others in the organization. Nathan, you want to say some few words?
I want to just say that one of the least understood of the most powerful of tools that we have is coaching.
Right.
The fact that we have had a very, very good program, and I learned a lot from it, is because of the time and investments of people like Sandhya and Debeshi. So a very sincere thanks to both of you. Sometimes the subtlety of what mentoring is and what coaching is completely lost. But the way you expound these in very simple terms makes it so very endearing. And what is really coaching? It's not really you doing anything. It's client led. I have a lot of takeaways from this program. Thank you so much. And for all you know, one of the things that happens in corporate life and personal life is if you do a good job, you're made to repeat it all over. So be prepared. We will certainly call on you again. And special thanks to Ramesh, because he's taken it on himself as a personal mission to ensure that there is a program that happens almost like a metronome. Tack, 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 on time, every time. And perhaps all of this is about how you build a community. Building a community is about contribution, but making sure that there are people who are in the community. I'm sure there will be a lot of N11 few as you would have from the people who were on the program. So on that note, thank you, Sandhya. Thank you, Debeshi. And of course, Ramesh, thank you very much.
My pleasure entirely, Nathan, because I love the interaction. It's, it's very uncomfortable when there is a monologue and you just go on talking. Thank you all for that interaction. And I know we exceeded by a couple of minutes. Sorry.
That's okay. Thank you. And we all look forward to having you again next Saturday to hear from Dr. T.V. Rao, the father of Indian HR, as how we have seen the evolution of HR or HR through the ages in the eyes of Dr. T.V. Rao. Same time, 10:30 next Saturday, we'll be back with another webinar from the global HR community. Thank you.